Yes, sir. Happy Monday. It's finna be a great week. Finna be a great day. Finna be a great show. We got a lot to discuss, and we're actually going to do a pivot. We're going to do an audible. I need y'all first and foremost. Well, thank you for joining us. As y'all joining, make sure that you like the video and make sure that you do exactly what I'm about to do. Send it to your group chat. Send it to your group chat. So I'm getting ready to hold on. Talking to Queez right now. Finna be one of them shows. You could let your people know when you sharing it with them that it's finna be one of them ones. You could let your people know I'm getting ready to post on. I should go live on Instagram. No, because that's right. The Bluetooth and everything. I don't feel like dealing with all that. So what I will do instead is that I will go and do exactly what I'm asking y'all to do. And just share it on the story, you feel me? But y'all don't have to share it on y'all stories. You can just share it on your what's the names? On your group chat, whatever. Even if you do, you do. Cool, appreciate it, love y'all. If y'all don't, I still love y'all because we still gonna have a great show. You feel me? Because y'all are here, so we don't really need anybody else. But it would be nice to have more people join the conversation. So I just put it on my story. Let me actually grab a tissue. 1 second. I'll be right back. Let me grab a tissue and then we're going to get right to it as we always do. Life is amazing, man. Life is amazing. It is what it should be. Hey, that Drake, yo, I've been, Yeah, I'm going to tell y'all, man, man, life really is amazing, bro. I hope everybody's been enjoying it. You know what I've been thinking about lately? What's that Fab song? Is it Ups and Downs or is it Selfish, the freestyle he did? That Drake album sound way better out here, man. That Drake album sounds way better out here. Y'all probably like, yeah, what is he even talking about? I'm just happy. Deal with it. Embrace it. Feed off the energy. You feel me? Feed off the energy. That's what kind of show it's going to be. So what are we going to talk about? We originally were going to talk about the disappearance of men. Is that what we're going to talk about? Yeah, I think that was the name of the show. The disappearance of men. We're about to make a little pivot. Let me turn this down. We are about to make a little bit of a pivot. So originally the show was the disappearance of men. We're actually still going to be on topic, but going to go in a totally different direction. So we're still going to be on topic, going to go in a totally different direction, just based on some current events or some videos that I've seen just within the last 24 hours. So they came out, I believe, a few days ago with Byron Donalds. So who's familiar with Byron Donalds? So Byron Donalds, he's actually from New York, and I believe he's one of our congressmen, and down in Florida. Let me make sure that I have the right title. Hold on. Let me make sure. I don't want to be giving out the wrong title. Let me look it up on my phone. I do. Ooh, yeah, I forgot we got that tag. We got a show for y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. All right, we are gonna explore. Hold on, Byron Donalds, Florida. Yeah, congressman. Yep. All right, so let's get to the show. All right, so Byron Donalds made some comments regarding some of the things that we've actually spoken about here. He actually made some of the same comments that we've made here, in which we identified that the marriage rate, especially for Black people, Black families, was significantly higher during the Jim Crow era than it is now, and how Lyndon B. Johnson and a lot of his social programs, when they were brought into America, that's when a lot of the marriages started to, people just stopped getting married as much. And when you look at the Black community, we've touched on a lot of these social programs, how they were replacing the Black man in the household, how women were now incentivized encouraged, whatever word you want to use, to not necessarily need a father in the household because the government could come save the day and give people these social programs. So what did that do for the Black family? Well, we're living in it right now. We are living in it right now. It just is what it is. And I want to I want to show y'all just the fact that Byron Donalds brought this up. And he was actually celebrating the fact that now more families are getting back together, because he was sitting here saying, like, hey, how did we have, higher marriage rates in the Jim Crow, the family were together? And then you look at the history, what separated it, but he was also celebrating the fact that, we're starting to see that trend come back. So a lot of liberals decided to try to run with some stuff that he was saying. They tried to take what he was saying and act as if he was celebrating the age of Jim Crow. And you see Reverend Al Sharpton do it. You see, is he even a reverend? You see Al Sharpton doing it. You see Joy Reid. You see the lady Abby Phillips, the one that Cameron had the funny interview with. And you see Roland Martin. We're not even going to address Roland Martin. And a few other people that I think, and I have all these videos that I want us to go through, because I want us to show you how people and how mainstream media tries to trigger us in certain ways. They try to trigger us and they try to manipulate us into thinking that somebody's saying one thing when they're not. They've tried to manipulate us. And I'm talking about the liberals here. And this is why, and you know what? This is why it always seems like I'm more taking the side of conservatives over liberals. And it's because they do silly stuff like this. And we're going to go through a wide range. I have no script today. I'm letting y'all know I have no script today. The script that I had, we're throwing that out. We're doing something different. Just made this decision 2 hours ago, when I was going over show notes and whatnot. But we're going to go through and show y'all exactly how people's words can be manipulated and exactly what liberals have been doing when it comes to Black people in order to try to convince us that the Republicans are the big, bad, racist party. And it just goes. They just try to do that. Yo, did they really just try to do that? Stop playing. That's crazy. Can y'all, am I back? You know what's so funny is I actually have the Ethernet cord hooked in. So I'm not even going off of Wi-Fi. Hold on. This is wild. Just let me know if everything's back good. I just want to give me the thumbs up so that way we can continue. But that was actually pretty strange. That was pretty strange. Let me know that y'all are good to go. All right, we're back. We're back. Ah, Pops is here. Dead. This is the show that is going to, I don't even know if this is the show. I don't even want to amp it up. Let's just get into it. All right, so let's just get into it. All right, so appreciate all y'all. Let me first acknowledge the team here. So we got Urs in the building. Lana's in the building, just made coffee ready to watch. Pops is in the building. All right, so let me now And they done threw off the whole, they done canceled the whole. All right, here we go. All right, so I want y'all to first, so this is when I first saw it. So I'm gonna take y'all through the videos that I first saw it. So this is Hakeem Jeffries speaking on what Byron Donald said. Representative Donalds, I'm sorry. Maybe he's not the congressman. My bad. So let's just get right into it. Hold on. Let me make sure that the screen is shared. This is about to be so fun. I swear, I love this. Yo, my dad asked me the other day, like, yo, so what's the goal of all this? I'm just living in it. I'm embracing it. I enjoy doing this. I'm passionate about it. And we'll see what comes from it later on. I don't know. All right, so let's take a look at this. Listen, so this is one of the first things that I saw, the first videos. So y'all take a look at it.
Black folks were better off during Jim Crow. Speaker, has come to my attention that a so-called leader has made the factually inaccurate statement that black folks were better off during Jim Crow.
Let's stop right there. The first 11 seconds, let's stop right there. He said that a so-called leader made a factual inaccurate statement that black people were better than Jim Crow. Did I hear that correctly? Let's run it back. I want to make sure we're all hearing this correctly.
Speaker, has come to my attention that a so-called leader has made the factually inaccurate statement that black folks were better off during Jim Crow. That's an outlandish, outrageous, and out-of-pocket observation. We were not better off when a young boy named Emmett Till could be brutally murdered without consequence because of Jim Crow.
Now we're going to go into the stories. This is actually, the more I see liberals speak, I swear I see the whole Pastor 101 handbook. It say something triggering to get the emotions of people, bash somebody, whatever point that you're trying to make, create a story that people identify with and that people have a strong emotional ties to where people now that embrace the emotional ties that you're saying, now they're going to believe the initial statement that you said without you even citing proof of it. Let's keep going.
Bro, we were not better off when black women could be sexually assaulted.
And of course you got to, what the heck is going on? Do you not see the playbook in all this? So now it's like, okay, let's trigger the emotions using Emmett Till, a kid that died. Now let's talk about black women because we know that black women, there's an issue with black women being protected now. So if we can relate this back to then maybe we can. Do y'all not see the playbook?
Without consequence, because of Jim Crow, we were not better off when people could be systematically lynched without consequence. Because of Jim Crow, we were not better off when children could be denied a high-quality education without consequence. Because of Jim Crow, we were not better off when people could be denied the right to vote without consequence because of Jim Crow. How dare you make such an ignorant observation? You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
All right. So I don't know who Hakeem Jeffries is. I'm going to be honest. I don't know who Hakeem Jeffries is. But I'm over here. I can't help but sit here and wonder. It's always these corny black men. Like, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. Corny black men. It seems like, and this seems like a trend that what the Democratic Party puts in front of us. It's either corny or soft black men. It's either a LGBTQ black man or it's a strong black woman. That's what the Democrats put out. I was sitting here and I was thinking, like, when I think about the Democrats and the liberals, who are the black men that are between the ages of maybe like 25 and 45 or 50 that they put on TV that voice their opinion? Van Jones, who's crying on TV, soft black man, like where are they? Where are they? So that's neither here nor there, but just corny as hell. Like, you better check yourself before. clearly just out of touch. This is one of the reasons why people like me, black men my age, are no longer subscribing to the Democratic Party. Y'all are so out of touch. Y'all don't even communicate how we communicate. Like, you're trying to be cool. You're trying to be, bro, check yourself before you, when did they say this? Like, let's keep going on with the video. So based on the substance of what he's saying in the video, you would think that Byron Donalds was out here just celebrating the Jim Crow era, right? So let's actually go to, and I didn't even go to the video that he initially posted, but just to bring y'all back to Byron Donalds, I want to get to the actual video. Hold on, let me see if there's the video here, because a lot of people obviously. Can I see the actual video? All right, hold on. I have it on another. I wanted to bring y'all to his page. That's what I'm looking at right now. Y'all can't see, but you know what? Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I have it on another video. So I want y'all to check. Hold on. Check this out. Hold on. We'll start off with Joy Reid. Hold on. We'll start off with Joy Reid. Hold on. I want to make sure we get the one with the full video. All right, here we go.
Some recent comments by Florida Congressman Byron Donalds have been condemned by House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, the Congressional Black Caucus, the chairman of the Democratic National Committee, Jamie Harrison, and the president of the NAACP, Derek Johnson, just to name a few. In those comments at an event designed to help Republican outreach to Black voters in Philadelphia earlier this week, Congressman Donalds made what certainly seemed like positive comments about the Jim Crow era, and he claims his critics are missing the context of what he said. So here's the context.
Positive comment.
I grew up with my mom. My dad and my mom, things didn't work out. As an adult, I look at my father and I say, bro, I don't know what happened, but you my father and I love you. Wow. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. Wow. But I'm gonna tell you this, growing up, the one thing I knew I wanted to do, and this is not about my father, this is about what I wanted to do, is I wanted to be a father to myself. Wow. And so one of the things that's actually happening in our culture, which you're now starting to see in our politics, is the reinvigoration of Black families with younger Black men and Black women. And that is also helping to breed the revival of a Black middle class in America. You see, during Jim Crow, the Black family was together. That's right. During Jim Crow, more Black people were not just conservative, because Black people always have been conservative minded, but more Black people voted conservatively. And then H.E.W., Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down that road, and now we are where we are. What's happened in America the last 10 years, and I say it because it's my contemporaries, it's Wesley's contemporaries, you're starting to see more Black people be married in homes, raising kids. It's when you home with your wife raising your kids, and then you look at the world, you're saying, now wait a minute, time out. This does not look right. How can I get something to my kids? It goes back to the conversation of generational wealth. Not just having a job, generational wealth.
I am joined now by Florida.
Now, y'all tell me, maybe I'm tripping. And the reason why this hits close to home is because I've actually shown y'all these exact stats regarding Jim Crow. Why is this significant before Jim Crow? Because the Jim Crow is right before Lyndon B. Johnson started implementing all of these social programs where you saw the Black families and families. It actually wasn't just Black families. But during that Jim Crow era, before Lyndon B. Johnson, I told y'all before, Black women were more likely to be married and were getting married at an earlier age than white women. Black women were more likely to be married, think about that, compared to what we see right now. You would never even think that based on what we see right now, where you see, 70% of kids growing up in Black households, 70% are growing up in single parent households in the Black community. Now you go back to the Jim Crow era, and Black women they were more likely to be married than white women. Now, that's what he's pointing out. And it's relevant because that's the period right before Lyndon B. Johnson and the Democrats started introducing all these social programs. So you tell me if what Hakeem Jeffries said was true, is if he's glorifying Jim Crow. He didn't say that Jim Crow, everything that happened during Jim Crow was a good thing. He's identifying something that happened in the Jim Crow era that we need to look back and study, because if you just wake up now and obviously you're not going to learn this history in school, or you're not going to see this on your favorite news station, you're not going to know that, wait, actually, you know, before these social programs, you know, we actually had black families together. You would make it almost as if this never happened. But because a lot of the liberals and the Democrats never like to get to the root of the problem, because they always just want to play victimhood. They never want to get to the root of the problem. They never want to go back and look at history and look at, okay, this may have been bad then. If you look at during the Jim Crow era, right after slavery, we had our own businesses. There were a lot of things that we could go back and study and look at. Of course, during that time, there was still racism. There was still prejudice. There was still segregation. But there's certain key components that happened during that era that we can learn from then and implement now. But because people don't really want to solve the problem. See, it's almost like you ever see these jobs where, think about it like this. If DE&I was solved tomorrow, and people had diversity on their jobs, what would these DE&I officers do? They would be out of a job. So therefore, they need to continue to push this victimhood. They need to continue to push and highlight racism here, racism there, because they will be out of a job. Democrats need to continue to push and make us feel like victims and highlight all these different areas rather than actually trying to solve the problem. Because if the problem is solved, then we will no longer be as dependent upon them as we previously thought we did, as our parents thought that we were, as our grandparents thought that we were. We will not be dependent on the Democratic Party. It's like a pastor. People aren't going to be going to church. Life is good. The worse you're doing, the more you feel that you need to go to church. The more you feel like you need to hear that good word. If problems are solved, churches will be empty. Let's continue to go on. Let's continue to go on, because I want y'all to hear the conversation between him and Joy Reid as they continue to try to talk over him, try to make it seem like he's saying one thing that he's definitely not saying.
Republican Congressman Byron Donalds. Congressman, thank you for being here. We played that lengthy segment. That is what you posted on your social media. The part of what you said that people take issue with is this line, which I'm going to read back to you again. You see, during Jim Crow, the black family was together. During Jim Crow, more black people were not just conservative. Black people have always been conservative minded, but black people voted conservatively. But it is that during Jim Crow, the black family was together. That's what people have taken issue with. What are they missing?
Frankly, what's really happened is that you have, Democrats, and you have the Biden campaign, and some in the media want to twist my words for political purposes. The overarching issue is talking just about black families and why you're seeing a trend of black people leaning towards Republicans in this election cycle and probably in election cycles to come. And part of that, is that when you're raising families, raising kids, et cetera, you're now thinking about all of the public policy issues, all of the economic issues, all of the education issues. And that's leading people to have divergence in political thoughts. That was the only point. The stuff that comes up about Jim Crow and twisting my words, saying I was being nostalgic or saying that Jim Crow was good for black people, that's all political spin. It's a lie. It's gaslighting. And that's truly unfortunate.
So here's the challenge, Congressman. You started out talking about your family, talking about your mom, talking about being raised, and you on your own brought up Jim Crow. In fact, you said Jim Crow 3 times for emphasis. It wasn't the media or the Democrats or gaslighters who brought up Jim Crow. It was you. You brought up Jim Crow. So why did you use Jim Crow specifically as your reference?
Because that was the time that people were living in. Do you understand what they're trying to do? Like, is it just me? Maybe I'm tripping. If this was a time that this was called the Jim Crow era, that's what it's called. they're upset with him for using the word Jim Crow because they're saying that if you use the word Jim Crow, you're highlighting and you're celebrating everything else that happened in Jim Crow when he was clearly just identifying one particular area, marriage rates.
You did that. No one else did that. You did it.
Yo, I'm sorry, yo. This is going to get me in trouble. This show may get me in trouble. White liberals, these white liberal controlled stations, MSNBC and CNN, do y'all not see the strategy of what they do? They will either have a gay black man, an emasculated black man, or a super strong black woman pushing these narratives, arguing with people. This is what they do. This is who they celebrate. This is who they promote. There's a reason for all this. There is a reason for all this. And if y'all can't see it, I don't know what will open our eyes up to this. This is across the board. Across the board, they try to sell. Why are black women encouraged to be so strong compared to other races of women? Encouraged to be just so strong and you have to be this, you have to. Why are they encouraged? Black women are being manipulated, have been manipulated because they're going to give Joy Reid a big bag of money for go at Byron. They sick these strong black women and weak black men on people like Byron Donalds. And I don't understand why we can't see this.
Oh, I did. We were having a conversation just talking as, black people in Philadelphia. But if you're going to use.
Remember the video that I showed y'all with Fauci going around Baltimore, going around the hood in Baltimore. And of course, he had that black woman there saying, oh, yeah, I got vaccinated. You should get vaccinated. This is what they do.
The chronological timeline of America before the Great Society and Lyndon Johnson's time period, you had, unfortunately, the Jim Crow era in America. During that time period, the marriage rates of Black Americans was significantly higher than any other time since then in American history. So it is a divergence if you're talking about marriage rates in the Black community. They have plummeted, and what we've seen.
And this is exactly what we're seeing. Hold on. Vons, don't delete that comment. Hold up. Vons deleting comments out here? I saw that comment, Vons. Should I give you a pass? Okay, he wrote it again. I love me a strong black woman. Vons, why do you love yourself a strong black woman? Without making this too personal. And I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I apologize in advance if this is too much, but y'all know I'm an open book, so I'm not going to make it about Von's stuff. Actually, Vons, I got to make it about you. Vons just said we need them. Strong black woman. He loved me. Vons, you grew up in a single parent household with your mother that had to take on more of a masculine role, had to take on more of a leadership role. I have to ask you, did your mom, I'm just being totally honest, cannot raise you to be a man, bro. Your mom by herself cannot raise you to be a man. And now you're the type of person, you grow up with a single mom, and then you're the type of person saying out in public, I love me a strong black woman. We need them. No, we need strong black male leadership. We needed you to have a strong black man growing up in the household to teach you how to be a man. So therefore, at the age of 37, you're properly prepared to go lead a family on your own. Come on, Vons, let's not do that, bro. Let's not do that, bro. But you got to look in yourself and understand how that impacted you. How that impacted you. Do you feel that you're... Vons, come on, baby. Come on. But this is what happens. This is a perfect example. Men that are raised by single parent women, I love me a strong black woman. Of course, because that's how you identify your mother, because she had to take on that role. But do you think that was the ideal situation of you growing up? Now looking back? Compare yourself and your upbringing and where you are now to where maybe some of our friends that had fathers in the household. And this is the thing. Vaughn said he's standing on that. And that's and I'm glad you're I'm glad to make a point that you said that, but to say that you're standing on that, this is exactly what happens with you know what black people stand on? I'm standing on Christianity. I'm standing on voting for the Democrats. I'm standing on black people continue to stand on the stuff that has a crumbling foundation. You continue to stand on it rather than look at it from a different perspective. I don't think saying we need a strong black woman is void of a strong black male. Why can't we have both strong black people, mom and dad? Because strong should not be, in my opinion, strong should not. Why does a black woman have to be strong? Do you ever hear that word associated with any other race of women? Why do black women have to be strong? Black women, do y'all want to have to be strong? Like that's so weird to me. And it once again, it goes back to the things that we celebrate. The things that we celebrate within our community and across the board in other communities, what you celebrate is what people are going to want to become because they see it as cool. Nowhere in here did we say, I need a strong black man. I need a strong black father. Why do you love a strong black woman? Black women, who said that black women want to be strong? Have y'all asked y'all significant others? Have y'all asked y'all mothers? Hey, mom, do you want to be strong? I've never had a conversation with my mom to where she says that she wants to be strong. It's never even come up. But the fact that that is always pushed to black women and no other race of women, it just goes to show you. It just goes to show you. Queez, why are you doing this, bro? You know you're reaching. You're trying to throw Vaughn's a lifeline, and I get it, but stop, bro. Strong doesn't have to mean masculine. Be strong in your femininity. Let me ask you a question, Queez. When Vaughn's just wrote that, did you think Vaughn's meant that he wanted a woman strong in her femininity? Do you think that in society, when we see all these strong black women being promoted, are we seriously saying that, oh, well, you know, I mean strong in their feminine, in their feminine frame? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. We know exactly what Vaughn's is saying. And based on what's happening in the current state of our society, we know that when people say strong black women, they're not, or strong women, strong black women, it seems to only be the thing that comes up. We're not talking about, oh, well, she's strong in her femininity. No, it's the opposite. Come on, Vaughn's. We've been through a lot. Slavery was all right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I don't want to get too caught up on this. Let's keep going.
Recently in America, which is a very good thing we should all celebrate, is that the marriage rates in the black community are rising again. That's good for black families. That's definitely good for black children. It's something I want to see. I'm quite sure you want to see it as well.
Okay, let's talk about that. Jim Crow lasted roughly from 1867 after the Civil War to 1968. Is there a specific period between 1867 and 1968 that you thought was this golden era for black families, or a time that was good for black families?
Joy, I never said that. You see, this is where the gap.
Yo, do y'all hear this shit? She just said that. He said that that was the golden era for black families. Did he say that? Bro, MSNBC has to think that black people are fools. They must really think that black people are fools to hear Joy play the entire video of what he's saying and spun it and continues to spin it, even though she played exactly what he said, saying that that was the golden era for black families. Please listen to this.
After the Civil War to 1968. Is there a specific period between 1867 and 1968 that you thought was this golden era for black families, or a time that was good for black families?
Joy, I never said that. And see, this is where the gaslighting comes in.
I'm going to read what you said.
All I was talking about was the marriage rates.
Stop.
Do you see the energy in this black woman, this strong energy in this black woman? y'all, yo, this is disgusting. And it's such a shame that men have taken such a back seat to where we even feel that we could treat somebody like this on a show. Like this is bad. This is bad all around. Listen, look at her energy.
Black families, or a time that was good for Black families?
Won't even let this man answer the question.
Joy, I never said that. And see, this is where the gaslighting
I'm going to
comes
read
in.
what you said.
All I was talking about was the marriage rates.
Stop. No,
Joy,
that's not what you said.
talking
Let's
about
play what
the
you said.
marriage rates
Play what he said.
of
Play what he
Black
said.
families. You're
Play
saying
what he
I
said.
said it was the golden era. I
I'm
never
gonna play.
said that.
I'm
You're
going to play
saying
what you
I
said.
said that it was better
I'm going
for
to
Black
play what you
families.
said.
I never said that. I
Play
said
what he said.
together. Play what I
Please
said.
play what he said.
During Jim Crow, the Black family was together. That's right. During Jim Crow, more Black people were not just conservative, because Black people are always a bit conservative-minded, but more Black people voted conservatively. And then H.E.W., Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down that road, and now we are where we are.
Okay, so now I'm going to go back. You said during Jim Crow, the Black family was together. What was the authority of the...
Joy, are you going to not address the fact that what you just said was a lie? And let's also address the fact of what Byron Donalds was saying. This is what I think that a lot of people miss. Black people have always been conservative. Black people have not voted conservatively. But if I sit down and talk to my parents, who probably have never voted Republican. I don't believe my parents have ever voted for a Republican. If I was to sit down with most of our parents that have never voted Republican, if I was to go over like, yo, how y'all feel about the LGBTQ stuff and what they're pushing in some of the schools? And I went down a list of areas across the board. I guarantee you that they would be more aligned with the conservative values than the Democratic values across the board. But for whatever reason, and I'll tell you the reason, because we've been manipulated after the Jim Crow era into Lyndon B. Johnson and what he supposedly said, allegedly said, when he was basically when he was pushing the social programs through, he said, like, this will allow us to control Black people. I forget how long he said, for the next 100 years or 500 years, whatever he said, we'll have Black people voting Democrat because they're giving us something. We were doing it on our own, and then we allowed them. We were figuring out stuff on our own, and instead decided to take a crutch, to take handouts as if that was a better thing, and all it did was cripple us. And we're seeing the result right now of where that crippling behavior that began with Lyndon B. Johnson and his social programs, I don't care what the intent was. Forget whether you can argue about, oh, well, the intent, it was supposed to help this, help that. It failed us. And we see the results of it now. And getting back to Joy Reid just said that this man said that the Jim Crow was the golden era for Black families. She played the video in which he clearly didn't say that. And you did not hear her say anything to take that back, to retract that statement, anything.
And then you go down that road, and now we are where we are.
Okay, so now I'm going to go back. You said during Jim Crow, the Black family was together. What was the authority of the Black father in the Black family during Jim Crow?
Well, listen, under Jim Crow, obviously, Black people were under great persecution.
And I'm sorry, hold on. Let me get to these. Hold on. And Queez wrote, I don't know what he meant. Let's change it. Facts. Let's change it. We don't need strong Black women. Yo, I don't even. Yo, do y'all? I'm gonna give y'all an example. So I was talking to Baywa. Baywa is the Nigerian young lady that works with us. She runs. She's my assistant, and she lives in Nigeria. And the other day I was talking to her. I talk to her every day, depending on the show. Talk to her at 7 a.m. and then I talk to her around 4 or 5. And I was talking to her and I said, you know what? I said, oh, OG Baywa. And I made a joke about a matriarch because in my head, like we just kind of were joking about it. And she said, oh, matriarch. And I said, oh, y'all don't like matriarchs in Nigeria? And she said, oh, a matriarch, like that's, oh no, I don't. And she went on to say that she does not want to be a strong woman. And she said something like, oh yeah, soft life, the things that we hear now. The only place on the planet where people subscribe to being a strong black woman is America, and it's pushed on black women more than anybody else. I don't understand it. It doesn't work. And then when you look at it, it's not like I could see if it was actually working and black families were doing well in society, but it's not working. We understand that this is just very simple. When you do not have a man in the household, of course, the woman has to take on more masculine roles. If there's not a woman in the household and it's just a father raising the kid, he's going to have to take on, some of the feminine responsibilities. So I don't understand why we look at this in this. Keep going. Let me keep going.
Unfortunately, by Southern Democrats and the Democrat Party overall in the history of our country. That's the fact. And so, let me finish now, Joy. And so having the black man in the home was about first protecting the mom and protecting the kids. Incredibly important. It was the leadership in the home, which is incredibly valuable. And I think what we're witnessing, obviously, the last 30 years, definitely through my generation, is black fathers being at home is incredibly important for the success of black children going forward. And it's not just a black thing, that's everybody. Fathers in home help to breed success for kids moving forward. That is a great thing for our country. That's something that has been proven throughout time. So what I'm talking about is not the golden era of Jim Crow. That's ridiculous. I would never say that. And that is the gaslighting that I'm standing up to, because that's what Hakeem Jeffries, the Biden campaign, Jamie Harrison and the like are trying to bring up. And unfortunately, the media has followed suit with misleading headlines, and that's wrong.
Wrong.
Now I'm going to talk. Do I have a chance? Good. Now, you talked about the black father being in the family, being able to protect the family. First, I want to read just for our audience the definition of Jim Crow, just so we all know what we're talking about. Jim Crow laws were a collection of state and local statutes that legalized racial segregation. They existed essentially from the post-Civil War era. They were meant to marginalize African Americans by denying them the right to vote, hold jobs, get an education, and other opportunities. Those who attempted to defy Jim Crow laws often faced.
Notice how she just said, and I just picked up on this, that Jim Crow laws were meant to marginalize black people. Let me ask y'all a question, because maybe I'm going to go down. I'm going to try to keep this within 60 seconds. Everybody, all these Democrats right now, liberals, they take on more of a victim role, to where this country is still racist. It's still this, it's still that. So if Jim Crow laws were meant to marginalize black people, my question would be, why do we think that they changed them? Do you think that there was just an enlightened moment where white people just said, you know what, let's do something great for black people? Here we were trying to marginalize them. Let's do something amazing for them. But then fast forward to now, but we're still sitting here saying that it's racist, it's this, it's that. So let me give y'all a little bit of my opinion. Jim Crow, during those times, it doesn't matter what the intent was to marginalize black people. When you had segregation, what ended up happening is that black people were rising at a greater rate than white people. Why? Because we had to shop. They pretty much forced us to support black businesses. When y'all see all this stuff going around, support black business, support this, support that, that's because the dollar, as soon as the dollar goes in the black community, it doesn't circulate within the community. It goes out to other communities. Other communities benefit from that. During Jim Crow, because we could not shop anywhere else, because we couldn't go to another doctor, because we couldn't go to a white grocery store, because we couldn't go to a white restaurant, we had to spend our money within ourselves, and we had to have businesses that serviced all of these needs. So that was the benefit, regardless of what their intent was. That was the benefit. Now, fast forward, we do not have all these stores, because just like with the Negro Leagues, when we had a successful Negro League and all those black players said, oh, well, I want to play in the major leagues with the white guys. I want to play, because we looked at white things as being better than what we had. The same way that we'll complain about the Grammys, Diddy, Jay-Z, all these people will complain about the Grammys, but then not go and either create their own awards or celebrate or participate in the BET Awards, because you want white acceptance so bad that it turned into a situation where we're not even supporting our own, where we're trying to get outside people to support us rather than just supporting our own like every single other group of people does. Let's get to these comments. Hold on. Queez wrote strong, having or marked by great physical power, having moral or intellectual power, having great resources, striking or superior of its kind, a strong resemblance, effective or efficient, especially. Queez giving us the definition. All right. To each their own, bro. If y'all want strong black women, cool. If black women want to be strong and that works for y'all, cool. But we've had strong black women for the last, I don't know how many years, and it doesn't seem to be working in our favor. And the cultures that actually are super successful in this country, whether it's the Indians, whether it's the Filipinos, whether it's all the other cultures that are super successful, it doesn't seem like their goal is to promote strong women. Ron's wrote, we have more fathers now raising their kids. Times have changed. But Queez wrote, times haven't changed, Vons. We need to stop celebrating men for what they are supposed to do. Well, unfortunately, we have to celebrate to start that. Hold on, Vons. Are we celebrating it to start it? Because you just said times have changed. So are they starting to change? Have they changed? Nah, let's hold each other accountable more than celebrate. Yeah, if you effing up, but if I see positivity, I'm celebrating. All right. Let's keep going a little bit with the video.
Arrest, fines, jail sentences, violence, and death. Now I want to talk about something that happened during this era. You said that what you were talking about was the presence of the black father in the home to protect his wife and family. In 1943, in the state that you represent, in Florida, a young man named Willie James Howard, who was 15 years old, was lynched. During Christmas of 1943, Willie Howard sent cards to all of his coworkers at the Van Priest Dime store in Live Oak, Florida. Unlike the other cards, Willie's card to Cynthia Goff, a white store employee, revealed a youthful crush. His greeting expressed hope that white people would someday like black people and concluded, I love your name, I love your voice. For SH, sweetheart, you are my choice. After reading the card, Cynthia's father, Phil Goff, brought two friends to the Howard home and demanded to see Willie. Despite his mother's pleading, the men dragged Willie away and then kidnapped Willie's father, James Howard, from work. The men drove the two Howards, I should say, to the embankment of the Suwannee River, bound Willie's hands and feet, stood him at the edge of the water, and told him to either jump or be shot.
How is this relevant?
Willie jumped into the cold water below and drowned while his father was forced to watch at gunpoint. Willie's dead body was pulled from the river the next day. You said that during the Jim Crow era, the importance of having a black man in the home was to protect his family and to protect his wife. I actually spoke with somebody who lived through Jim Crow. Her name is Merle Evers Williams. And Merle quoted to me a man named Charles Silverman, who wrote in Crisis in Black and White, that in 1890, the year that the Mississippi Constitution was written, the policy of crushing out the manhood of the...
Did she just plug her book? Yo, what the fuck? Yo, this is crazy.
Negro citizens was to be carried out with success. So the man in the home during Jim Crow had no rights.
What does this have to do with what he's saying? How about this? Let's take away some of the positive things that we were forced to do, because we were forced to have families back then, right? Based on us living in these Jim Crow circumstances. So if we have that energy, right, the family energy, but now bring it to here where we lack the family energy, why can't we take some positive things? Why can't we at least learn from certain things that happened in Jim Crow? Why is she, what was the whole point of her giving that whole, I don't understand.
Could not protect his wife from rape, could not protect his son from lynching. So again, why would you quote that era and say that at that time, the family all being in the home together was something we should think of as a good thing?
Well, first of all, Joy, the story you bring up and you're bringing up is a tragedy, one of the great tragedies of the Jim Crow era.
I'm asking
this is
why
those
you
policies
that
were
era.
they were disgusting and distasteful. All I
So
was
that
talking
era,
about, Joy,
what was the benefit of a man in the
question.
family? Again, sir, I'm sorry,
Joy,
I let
am
you
I allowed
talk
to
for a long
talk, or are
time.
you gonna
Sorry,
talk over
I
me?
only,
I'm
no, talk over you. You've gotten a chance to
trying
speak
to
a lot,
respond to
Congressman.
what you-
And Queez, and just so y'all know, Queez said his point's not coming across, and we'll talk later. I know how Queez feels about this. And just to be very clear, Queez and Vons are not on the same page. So I didn't want to make it seem as if that, or I didn't want people listening to think, I know where Queez stands on this. Trust me, Queez is all about be the change, trust me, Queez, I get that. When you look at this, I see a strong black woman. Look at how she's behaving. Look at how she's behaving. If a black man was doing the stuff that she was doing right there while interviewing somebody, would we look at it the same? If a white man, hold on, for all the liberals and the Democrats, if a white man was sitting there talking to Byron Donalds like that, let's say if it was Megyn Kelly, a white woman, or if it was somebody on the conservative white side, a man talking to a black Democrat like this and cutting them off during an interview, how would we feel about that? Oh, well, it's different, right? Yeah.
You're going to answer my question now and not filibuster. This is the question you want. This is the question you need to answer.
That's what I'm trying to answer.
Men,
that's what I'm trying to answer, Joy.
Give me a second. Take a breath. Take a breath. If a black man could not protect, it's my show. If a black man, a black father, could not protect his wife, his son, or himself from lynching and violence, how is him being in the home mean that that is an era that was better for the black family, or that we should think of as a good thing?
First of all, Joy, I never said that it was better for black people in Jim Crow. I have never said that. And even my own words say that. If you're talking about the importance of black fathers in the home, or frankly, all fathers in the home, it is always for the betterment of children to have leadership. Yes, for safety. So having two people in the home to help provide the economic needs for those children so the family can succeed. That is a wonderful thing. We should always get back to that, not to Jim Crow. And this is the point of the gaslighting and the lying that is occurring with what I said. Don't try to impose the fact that the marriage rates were better in the higher, I want to be clear, higher in the Jim Crow era to mean that I think Jim Crow is great. That is a lie. That is gaslighting. I would never say such a thing, which is why the Jim Crow era was destructive of black people.
You brought it up. You're the one who brought it up.
Yo, all right, so hold on. We got another one. This is going to be a little bit of a longer. Hold on. This one's not as long, but hold on. I'm not even going to comment. I'm not even going to comment. First and foremost, there's not a successful man on this planet that would look at how Joy Reid is behaving and say, that looks like a woman that I would love to marry. That looks like a woman that I would love to. There's not enough black men and men overall being honest about this stuff. Her behavior looked disgusting. And nobody's going to say it. And here he had to be so respectful. And because if he loses his cool and he's arguing with a black woman, it's going to be a problem, right? So here he had to be. And y'all are probably looking at it like, well, that's just Joy Reid. Don't worry. I got another example for you. But before we go to Abby, let's listen to what the Reverend Al Sharpton had to say. Let's listen to what the Reverend Al Sharpton had to say. The Reverend, the one that was a rat, the one that snitched because he was involved in some illegal activities and somehow became the Reverend. Nowadays, he snitched on, I think, the Italian mob or something like that because he was doing something with just go back and just go look at man. The people that they put in, the people that they shine a light on, they're shining a light on them for a reason. Let's listen to this exchange. Let's listen to this exchange. Remember what I said, the type of people that liberals, the type of black people that liberals put in positions to state their points and to push the liberal agenda.
Congressman, welcome to the show. You just heard what Congressman Vesey had to say about your comments. You've also been criticized by House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and the head of the DNC, Jamie Harrison, both of them black. One of them black from Brooklyn, like you were born in Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn.
And real quick, let me address, hold on. It's infuriating. It really is, Queez. Hold on, Lana wrote. And there's a big difference between a mad woman and a strong woman. We could nitpick all we want. Fellas, this is, you know what's so funny, Lana? It's not even women's fault. It's not even women's fault. That's why on the bottom of the screen, it says the disappearance of men. Men are not being honest with women. Nobody wants a strong woman or a mad woman. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to say nobody, because look what Vons just wrote. That's someone type, some men like that. You know who likes strong women? The type of men that do not want to be successful on their own, that do not want to, and y'all can say that I'm wrong and bring up certain examples of how this, whatever. Okay, cool. The type of men that want strong women probably grew up with a single mother, probably are looking for their woman to become more successful than them, probably are looking for their woman to be the breadwinner, all that. So if that's the type of man or the type of woman that type of man likes, then cool. Here we go. Even my dad's commenting, strong may not be the problem. Perhaps her aggression was the problem. Why are we acting as if we're not aware of how this society is constructed? Y'all can sit here and say, well, that's more mad, or strong may not be the proper word. Aggression may be the. Why are we playing these games? Why are we playing these games? We know what society has done. Society has pushed women to be stronger and stronger at the expense of to emasculate men. Why are we playing these games as if we don't see that this happening and being super relevant and right in front of us, in front of our eyes in this society? I don't understand. Everything's a yin and a yang, right? So let's say you have two different people. You have two people. The stronger one person is in any partnership, whether it's sports or anything else, the stronger one person is, typically the weaker the other person is, right? That's the yin and the yang. So when you have a stronger woman, what is that mostly going to create in the relationship? What is that going to attract? A weaker man. I tell y'all all the time, when I go to the gym, I see more women in the gym than men. It just is what it is. Society is trying to push women to become stronger and stronger at the expense of emasculating men. Why do you think the stuff that we have going on right now in society with all this, we got drag queens in libraries reading books to kids? Who do you think allows that? That is a feminized society. There's no strong leader black or strong leader man, period. Maybe there's some black men that would allow it. There's no strong leading men that would condone that type of behavior unless it's pushing their particular agenda, lining their pockets, or doing something of that nature where it's favorable to them. Why are we acting as if this is not a problem? I don't know. I would never. Yeah, one of the. When I think about, I don't know. I just think about my Nan, and I'm like I would never, like, Nan, you were a strong black woman. It's like, what? It's like, and we know, well, they could be strong in this way. They could be strong in that way. Yes. Are women strong when they give birth? Yes, but that's not what we're talking about. Are women strong the way they support their man and take care of the household? You can say that. You can put the word however you want to. But we know that in this society, especially as it pertains to the black family, what they are pushing and the agenda that has been pushed. We're not talking about all these things that y'all are mentioning. let's my fault. Tangent. Let's listen to Reverend Al.
What's your response?
My response is that it's very interesting how people can just lie and mischaracterize what I said. The video's on my social media. Go to @ByronDonald. You can listen to it in full. I never said or insinuated anything about Jim Crow being better. Just was talking about the marriage rates of Black families in America during that time period. It's an empirical fact.
You mentioned Jim Crow. Wait a minute. I've watched your video. You mentioned Jim Crow 4 times. One time you referred to families. All families did less. They had higher divorce rates in the 60s and 70s as the nation opened up. This wasn't because of Jim Crow kept blacks. Blacks couldn't vote. Those families couldn't go downtown. I mean, to in any way infer that Black families were better than Jim Crow. I mean, I've said things that I've later said I shouldn't have said it that way.
I've never
Can't
said
you
that.
own that even sanitizing Jim Crow, even if that wasn't your intention, was to say, that's my intention, I'm sorry for using those words?
Well, first of all, I never sanitized Jim Crow. I was just talking about the era in which Black marriage rates were higher than they were during the Great Society and every other point in American history.
Why did
because that was the era.
The period of time was the 50s. If you wanted to say the 50s,
that's when it happened.
You said Jim Crow.
So now they're saying you can't say Jim Crow relating to that time. You have to say the 50s.
When it happened. Because that was the era in which marriage rates were higher. Look, you had Joe Biden a couple years ago talking about Jim Crow 2.0, talking about Georgia's law, and he lied. He lied then. So are we not allowed to talk about that era, or only are we allowed to talk about it when we do want to recall all the history of Jim Crow and all the tragedies that occurred during Jim Crow?
If we're going to talk about the era, Congressman, and you name a race-based law, then you cannot take race out of the fact Jim Crow was a law against Black people. You weren't just talking about the era of Dwight Eisenhower and Harry Truman. You named Jim Crow. There's only one way you could deal with Jim Crow, and that's by race. I mean, look, you and I have mutual friends. People say you're a straight shooter. Yes. We may disagree on politics. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. But look, you were born in Brooklyn. You went down into the South, went to Florida State. You have an interracial marriage. You're the congressman of a district that's not a Black district. I mean, how can you even live with yourself acting like Jim Crow?
Yo, did y'all just peep what he just did? He said you got an interracial marriage and you represent hold on, listen to this. Listen to this.
You have an interracial marriage. You're the congressman of a district that's not a Black district.
You have an interracial marriage and you're the congressman of a district that's not a Black district. You know what he just said? Nigga, who is you to talk about Black issues when you got a white woman and you represent a white district? Is that paraphrasing correctly or did I hear it wrong? So now you're trying to to discredit him and his opinion based on the fact that he's in an interracial marriage and that he represents a district that's not the majority Black. The mind games, bro.
I mean, how can you even live with yourself acting like Jim Crow was a good era or better era for Blacks? What happened to you?
Okay, that's real cute. That's real cute. I did not say that. And I'm not going to sit here and have to insinuate that against me. Because right now you're lying about what I said. I did say Jim Crow. I did reference it 3 times. That's not to say that it was better. I never said that. Those words never came out of my mouth. When are you going to get that through your skull and everybody else's skull? I never said that. And the difference between me and a lot of other Republicans, I'm not going to.
You know what's so funny? And this is I see Vaughn's wrote, Queez wrote gaslighting at its finest, and Vaughn's wrote he got a point. If he has a point, and Vaughn's wrote facts, why was everybody running around here celebrating Kamala Harris as being Black when she became the vice president? Reverend Al, why were we pushing Joe Biden? Hey, you got to bring on a Black woman. You got to bring on a Black woman. But when he, as vice president, but when you bring on Kamala, who's married to a white man and who has never identified with being Black, who has never, ever You know what I'm saying? She's not the one pushing black this, pushing black culture. She's the one locking black men up, keeping certain evidence that would have freed them. She's not allowing that evidence to be allowed in court. So therefore, they're still being there. Things that could have freed black men. She did not allow that to, Dad, you can give us the legal term if you want. She didn't allow that to be exposed. So why, when it's trying to prove your point, Reverend Al, and the rest of to Devon and maybe the rest of a lot of liberals, why, when it's Kamala, it's celebrated as being black, when the Democrats do it, and it's not looked at as, oh, well, no, Kamala, she's married to a white man. We need another black woman. We can't have somebody who's watered down. That's what he pretty much said. We can't have you're married to a white woman. And Vons is on here saying you got a good point, facts. Okay, but where is that energy that I saw when Kamala, when all these people, I got a couple of homies drawing paintings of Kamala Harris after she got elected, as if she's this super black woman. Like, but then when it's against your point, y'all get what I'm saying. Let's keep going. It's the goofiness. Honestly, I don't see. I'm gonna be real, bro. Things ain't gonna get better. Things are not gonna get better. Things are not gonna get better. People, we don't think objectively enough to where things will get better. And I know Alana wrote something. While you were in the NFL, did they have development, character building programs? I don't know. What made you ask, Lana? I would love to know, actually. All right, so let's keep going.
Heard what you said. You said it was better for us.
I'm not going to let you
under Jim Crow to bring families together. Did you say that?
Hakeem Jeffries was lying. The Biden campaign was lying. All right. Go look at my words.
Well,
go look at my words.
Right. People can look at your words. Did I say Jim Crow was better? No, I did not. You said
I did not say Jim Crow was better.
I never said it was good.
I did not have nostalgia. I never said any of those things. I was talking about black families and black family marriage rates during that time.
Okay.
And the.
All right. Then what did Jim Crow do to contribute to black families?
What? Yo.
Hello.
I'm not talking. Oh my gosh!
You said that you.
I'll tell you what Jim Crow did to contribute to black families. What Jim Crow did to contribute to black families was force black families to rely on themselves rather than relying on government social programs. What Jim Crow did for black families was force us to own our own businesses rather than to spend our money in every other business, to where we're going to the Arabs, we're going to whatever culture you want to name. Indians we shop with. Look at the people that own stores in the hood where black people shop. Let's be real. Do we have our own grocery stores? When our celebrities need an attorney, who do we go see? Do we go see our black attorneys, or do we go, yo, I'm getting my Jewish attorney? Come on, bro. We're playing games on here. And when we play games, in my opinion, we're never going to allow ourselves to get to a position to where we can grow and get out of this hole that we're in because of things like Al Sharpton, of people like Joy Reid. Let's look at The View. So for everybody who agrees so far with Joy Reid and agrees with Reverend Al Sharpton, let's look at The View, ladies, because sometimes you got to look at yourself like, damn, you ever, like, I'm agreeing with these type of people. Let's look at The View. Let's look at The View, because Al Sharpton, that's just going to keep going like that.
To become Trump's vice president. The list of finalists who are groveling to become Trump's vice president includes Marco Rubio, Elise Stefanik, J.D. Vance, and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. But Florida Congressman Byron Donalds hit a new low when he told a room full of black Republicans that he misses the quote-unquote good old days. Watch.
So let me get this straight, Reverend Al. A black man can't comment and have an opinion and refer to an era about something happening in an era because he has a white woman, a white wife, and he represents a district that's not predominantly black. But we got no issue with predominantly white women on The View commenting on the issue. They could talk about Jim Crow. They could talk about Byron Donalds. They can, no problem, right? Okay.
During Jim Crow, the black family.
All right, I'm gonna
was
fast
together.
forward this because y'all already saw this part.
During Jim Crow, more black people were not just conservative, because
Black people period.
Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down
Let's
that road.
listen.
And
This
now
is
we are where we are.
It's hard to hear him a little bit, I think. But he's basically saying that during the Jim Crow period, which is post-slavery, like 100 years later, black people were in better condition than they are now, right?
Yo,
When there was slave patrol.
What? Yo, did he say that? Yo, black people are embarrassing.
Black people were in better condition than they are now, right?
When there were slave patrols and
Yeah.
and things like that. Well, you know, listen, I can't say it any better than our House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries. So let's take a look at what he said.
We were not better off.
All right, we're not gonna listen to this again.
Byron Donalds.
Before you wreck
Yo,
yourself.
this is
My question is, does Byron
yo,
Donalds,
this is
does he not know
this is hard
the
to watch.
history, or is he just wanting to pander?
Well,
What's
either
going
did
on?
anyone else in that room, though. What's scary is when you hear the audio, there are a lot of people going, So it feels like a class needs to be taught to everyone in that room, because segregation left you with no choice. Like, you weren't picking the family. They were literally making you go to different places. They didn't allow.
Let's all clap it up for the white women that are giving us so much information on Jim Crow. Because a black man who's married to a white woman, we can't respect that opinion, but at least we have the beautiful white ladies on The View who will give us their insight.
So talking about a black person.
Oh, it stings a little bit when I talk the race stuff, right? It stings a little bit, right? I felt it sting a little bit, right? When I say the word white women, but it's no problem when it's proving your point, when it's Al Sharpton. Okay.
And choosing to be with your family, and then looking at the greater social scheme and the injustice of that. He must not know what it is. I mean, that seems like a far leap to not understand Jim Crow, segregation, and the separation of the race. I don't understand.
Well, if he doesn't know, shame on him, because there is nothing worse, I think, that when people achieve certain status and certain rights and don't appreciate, take for granted the struggles, the death, the fights, the marches, everything it took to be able to give Byron Donalds the opportunities he has now. Because under Jim Crow, he couldn't vote. He wouldn't have been in Congress. He couldn't have married his wife. He's married to a lovely woman named Erica, who's white. Interracial marriage was illegal in Florida until 1969. He could have not gone to Florida State University. For over 100 years, black students were not admitted to that university. Over 250 blacks were lynched in Florida under Jim Crow. So for him to be waxing nostalgic about that era that elicits so much pain, that was such a dark period in the history of the United States, is offensive. And for him to be doing it as a black man, as a person of color, is
I'm sorry. This shows the state of where black people are. Who did this woman think she is to say that something is offensive that was happening to not people that look like her, but people that look like me, indigenous to America? She's gonna, like, how do we even allow this to happen? And where are the black men in the Democratic Party that are calling out this stuff? Like, hold up, sweetheart. No. I don't care that Byron Donalds is on the other side, but what he's saying is a legit point. Where is the leadership that says that? All they do is jump on these agendas, and here you have a panel of white and mixed or Latina women commenting on Byron Donalds, referring to the experience of Jim Crow about marriage rates being higher, and then putting all this stuff on him, saying that he said it's nostalgic. Like, oh, come on, this is bad. It was a nostalgia feeling. Stop it.
even more offensive. What really drives me crazy, though, is that it's like every 3 months, a Republican says something more stupid about black history and slavery, right? I mean, last year, We had Ron DeSantis saying that, defending that there was good things about slavery, skills that were learned that could be put to good use. Then we had Nikki Haley, who couldn't admit that slavery was the cause for the Civil War.
So my question to you, Sonny, is it stupidity like she says, or is it something else?
I think it's pandering. I don't think it's stupidity.
To whom?
It's pandering to Donald Trump. I thought it was interesting that the framing was a room of black.
Is Sonny black, or does she come from a mixed? Like, is she mixed? I'm confused on all this. I'm confused on all
Republicans, where are they? Where are they? Because if you look at the stats, 81%, I'm sorry, of black men are part of the Democratic Party. Black voters consistently align with the Democratic Party.
What's that show? It's kind of like the opposite of The View, where there's just a panel of black men. But it's a Democratic show, so it's not the opposite of true. But as far as it's that show where there's just a panel of black men, Democrats, that are speaking on the same issues that The View has. What? There is none. There is none. There is a reason why. This is crazy. Let me get to the comments. Let me get to the comments. Oh, yeah. So this is what Kamala was doing. Kamala reportedly withheld exculpatory evidence that would have supported the release of innocence of black men. Queez wrote, yo, this is insane. Bez wrote, Bez G in the building. Funny, some history of Jim Crow they want us to remember, but they want to erase the history of these white war generals that helped build us. I don't know. And speaking of, so it's an interesting point that you brought up. I was talking to my dad about, so the whole Charlottesville situation was over Robert E. Lee. But that was one of the Confederate generals that was, they wanted to take down his statue. So this, I have to actually research it a bit more, but in the little research that I did, because I was looking at it, I forgot what Charlottesville was actually about. So I went back and I looked and I said, oh, they're trying to get rid of, this is when I was going back to review Trump saying the good people on both sides, that whole thing, when they cut a clip of what he said and they tried to make it seem, whatever, we already went over that. Robert E. Lee, the general, this is what I read. I got to do more research and then I'll come back to y'all. But it's funny, I only thought about it when you said the generals, Bez, because Robert E. Lee, who fought in the Confederacy, they said, or whoever, I got to go back and look at the article, that he was one of the key people in bringing the Union and Confederacy together. Like, that's what he worked on afterwards. So it's just, but to your point, Bez, it is very funny how some history wants to be remembered, but some doesn't. So I'm definitely with you. I'm definitely with you on that. Let me make sure that I'm, Republicans and Democrats need help. I agree, Vons. I agree. All right, let's keep going.
Over 95% of black women are part of the Democratic Party. So these black men,
hold on,
black voters consistently align with the Democratic Party. 7%. Where are they? Because if you look at the stats, 77% of 81%, I'm sorry, of black men are part of the Democratic Party. Black voters consistently align with the Democratic Party. Over 95% of black women are part of the Democratic Party. So these black men that he was speaking with, I'd love to see them. It would be like looking at unicorns. Well, and so
a black man that's a Republican is a unicorn. The foolishness in these liberals, like Sunny Hostin, whatever her name is, the liberals that think like this are fools. Fools. Because they try to make it seem as if, let me ask you this, let me switch that. If Democrats have been getting all this support that she just mentioned from black people, then why, when Joe Biden's running for president, he says that his number one agenda is the LGBTQ community? If Democrats have been getting all this support from black people for all these years, why are we still complaining about things being so bad? If I continue to pay somebody to do something that they're not able to do, when we continue losing, You look for somebody else, right? So based on what she just said, why are we not looking for something different? Why do we continue to do the same thing and expect different results? Definition of insanity, right? And for her to, what she did, what she's doing right here is bad in so many ways. It's like you're trying to say like, oh, there's no black people that are Republican. They're unicorns. All right.
I think that the sad thing is, I agree with you, Anna, is that this came from the mouth of a black man, right? And so if you're pandering yourself and your community and your history to a man like Donald Trump, who is a disgraced, one-term, twice impeached, convicted felon, we get to say now, is even more despicable in this country.
Alyssa?
Well, in the broader context here is that Byron Donalds is one of many people jockeying to be Donald Trump's running mate.
Yeah.
He's among the names that reportedly Donald Trump has requested materials from and is wanting to look seriously into. I consider him to be kind of in the second tier. I don't think he's one of the top contenders.
How come when a black man says something about or says something against Democrats, he didn't even say anything against Democrats, but why when a black man doesn't support the things that you support, it's always him pandering to Trump, him pandering to the Republican Party? What about everything that we see from Al Sharpton, from all y'all? Are y'all pandering? Is Al Sharpton pandering? Is Joy Reid pandering? Is Abby Phillips pandering? Is Van Jones pandering? Is Don Lemon pandering? Why is it only pandering when they say something that doesn't agree with your viewpoint?
But listen, I'm so struck that people saw.
She's the type of person, I didn't even hear what she says. She's actually supposed to be the conservative on the show. She tries to act stupid. Let's just keep going.
January 6th, and they are lining up saying, you know what, I want Mike Pence's job. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like and I say that like that day breaks my heart because Mike Pence is someone I know and care about.
Well, they think that these guys will go along with the
and that's
lie
exactly
that Trump actually won.
There's a litmus test that we're already seeing where they're being asked, what would you have done on January 6th? And none of them are having the backbone, the integrity, and the love for the Constitution to say, I would have certified the election the way Mike Pence did. Listen, Trump is looking for somebody who has or can raise a lot of money, somebody who could be his hype man at the front of the room but isn't going to overshadow him, and I think somebody who's going to be unfailingly loyal. I think the top contenders, I hate to even prognosticate, but I think it's Rubio, Doug Burgum, and J.D. Vance, and it's kind of a race to the bottom of how much you can just work to endear yourself and show your sheer loyalty to this unfit man.
What happened to me is like limbo rock. How low can you go? You've got Marco Rubio comparing the American legal system to Cuba. You've got this guy, Byron Donalds, saying the good old days of Jim Crow. You've got the lady
did y'all
who's
just
like
hear what she
boasting
said?
about killing a dog.
Well, she's not in there.
She said that Byron Donalds is saying the good old days of Jim Crow. Yo, if this is really bad. This is really bad. And you know what's even worse about it is that most of the people watching this show, just like Quee said that he had to tell his mom to stop watching The View because she was getting sucked into this. Most people watching this show are not able to think objectively. They're just going to go along with everything that's being said here because they don't look at anything else other than this super liberal news and super liberal stations. They don't hear other viewpoints. They don't even hear non-mainstream. Like, let me be very clear. There's a difference between mainstream liberals and mainstream conservatives than going on YouTube and hearing people talk that are not mainstream. Mainstream are people that are not independent, that are controlled by whoever puts money in their pockets, like Big Pharma with MSNBC and CNN. So therefore, that's why they were pushing. We already went over this with y'all know what happened in 2020. Let's actually go. So I want to go to the next. This is crazy. The fact that he did all these interviews. Shout out to Byron Donalds doing all this. But let's go to this other video.
Philip in New York, and I want to get right to it tonight. One of Donald Trump's vice presidential contenders, Congressman Byron Donalds, he made some comments that has a lot of you talking and a lot of Democrats fired up. I'm going to speak with him live in just a couple of minutes, but here are the original remarks. They were made as a part of a pitch.
All right, we don't need to hear that. We already heard it again.
That many Democrats who jumped on Donalds today claimed that he said that blacks were, quote, better off. As you heard there, he didn't use those exact words in the clip, but the congressman joins me now to talk about that. Congressman, thank you for being here.
Why did they say it?
I want to just focus on really the substance of what you were saying or trying to say in that clip. What did you mean by black families were more together during Jim Crow?
Frankly, what that is about the empirical fact that before the Great Society, before Lyndon Johnson's policies, there was more black families united.
For all of y'all that think that, so Lyndon B. Johnson was the one that pushed the social programs. Lyndon B. Johnson was the one that pushed what we see now as the social programs. Have y'all ever gone back and looked up the type of person that Lyndon B. Johnson was? The things that he said regarding black people? Maybe people should do that, because I know we like to think that all good old Democrats, those are the good white people, right? And the Republicans, those are the racist white people, right? Maybe we should look back and see what type of person Lyndon B. Johnson was.
The marriage rate in Black America was significantly higher before the Great Society. The period of time that coincides with that, obviously, is Jim Crow era. And then after the Great Society, the marriage rate in the black community plummeted significantly. The Great Society is a part of that reason, not completely, but it's definitely a part of that. And what you're seeing right now in America is a reformation of black families in America. That's a good thing, not only for the black community and for black families, but it's also a good thing for the country.
So what was the point of tying together the black family and Jim Crow specifically? I mean, Jim Crow, as you know, was a period of racial segregation, of racial terror. Why would you make that connection?
All I was doing was referring to the time periods when you talk about the historical timelines in America and coinciding with black families and what the marriage rate in black families are. The overarching point is obviously talking about what polling shows today, that about 25% of the black vote, depending on what poll you're looking at, is leaning towards supporting Republicans and supporting President Trump. The corollary to that is that when you're in a family unit, husband and wife, living together, working together, thriving together, you're raising your kids, your thought process is now talking about building generational wealth. What am I leaving to my children? What kind of communities do I want my children to come up in? What are the educational opportunities? What's going on with the economy? How does, and then to a broader level, how does foreign policy and all these other public policy issues flow into that? And so when you compare the terrible agenda of Joe Biden and what that's done to families in America, coinciding with the fact that you are seeing a reformation of black families in America today, which is an absolutely wonderful thing and needs to continue. My view is it also coincides with a more conservative leaning and a more conservative mindset politically in those families.
One thing I really want to just get you to address is there were a lot of people who heard what you had to say, and a lot of them are offended by the idea that you would repeat Jim Crow 3 times in your comments, as if to suggest that that was a time period because that black families were, in your words, together, because, in your words, black people were not just more conservative, they voted more conservatively. That's a good thing. I mean, it sounds like nostalgia. Do you regret using that time frame as a reference?
Nobody ever made nostalgia. That was never the point. It wasn't even about that. So where now I'm going to get my backup is I didn't say that. I didn't even insinuate that. That is where the media and, yes, Hakeem Jeffries and a lot of other people are taking
What exactly didn't you insinuate?
No, back up.
I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. What didn't you insinuate?
The premise of your question, I did not insinuate. That is what people are trying to weave into what I said. What I said is crystal clear. It's on my social media. Go to @Byron.
Yo, yo, I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. White liberals have always gotten other black people that align with their agenda to do their dirty work. And people are going, well, you talking about all white people? Of course, I'm not talking about all white people. I'm talking about the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party. There's a reason why we're seeing the people that were bringing Byron Donalds on, why they had the Al Sharptons, why they had Hakeem Jeffries saying something about him, why they had Sonny Hostin saying all the ladies on The View, why they have Abby Phillips, why they have Joy Reid. There is a reason and a strategy for all this. And if we don't see it, then I don't know what it's going to take to get us to wake up. I really don't know what it's going to take. And it's already 9:30. So y'all can, I'm not going to play the rest of that interview, but I suggest that y'all go check it out. And Lana, I still want to know what you meant as far as the development and character building. If you're still on, I would love for you to elaborate on that. Would love to. And if we don't see certain things happening, and if we don't approach things from an objective standpoint, then we are always going to, we're going to continue and always going to see things from a lens that is super biased and is based on being manipulated by a party that just needs our vote. Now, keep in mind, I'm not voting for Trump. Like right now, my guy is RFK. But what I do think that needs to happen, see, once again, I'll say it again, like I said on the last show, we don't need anybody to convince us to look at what Republicans say objectively. Matter of fact, because we always look at it from a glass half empty standpoint, or I don't care if there's water in there anyway. They're probably going to drink it up anyway. We always look at the Democrats from a glass half full standpoint. Or it's like, this is enough water for me. I'm good. We always do that. So therefore, what we need to do is convince people to be, especially the black people, to be more objective when it comes to how we receive the information, whether that's the news, whether that's directly from the politicians, whether that's interviews, whatever we're watching. TV shows like The View, because that's not the news, just to let everybody know. Until we're able to look at that as objectively, we're never going to be able to put the proper pressure and call out certain things within the Democratic Party that needs to be addressed, that needs to be changed, rather than just pushing their agenda. So I'm gonna, if you looked at this entire show and you have no issue with what Al Sharpton did, what Joy Reid did, the nerve of the women on The View to stand from a position as if Byron Donalds can't be questioned, as if they can speak on Jim Crow more than a black man, right? A black man, isn't that what y'all said? A black man married to an interracial marriage. But so you take credibility away from him because he's married to a white woman and represents a white district or a not predominantly black district. But then we want to highlight all the things that these white and Spanish women are saying on The View. I'm gonna leave it there. Matter of fact, there's no OG Elevate moment. We started off this show talking about why black women in particular are always encouraged to be strong. If you want to do that, you embrace that. But let's just remind ourselves that that is not done anywhere on the planet except black people in America that are pushed the way that they're pushed in America by the Democrats to be the strong woman. And when you connect the dots, what happened right after Jim Crow, once again, when black women were married at a higher rate than white women. And then you have Lyndon B. Johnson and the social programs come into play. And then we see what we're living in right now. If we draw no connection, then that's on us. If we don't want to look back at the history and see certain things that happened during Jim Crow that forced us to be more independent, that forced us to have more of our own businesses, that forced us to spend our dollar within our community. See, other cultures, they already know that. Black people are the only people that fight for everybody. I want to be accepted by everybody. Other cultures don't do that. Other cultures don't base their success based on whether other cultures accept them. Look around at what's going on in the world. Do you think that people care about how they're viewed? When you look at some of the stuff going on in the Middle East, do you think people care about how they're viewed? Now, not to say that that's the way that, there's extremes, of course, but we are at the extreme end of the other side of the spectrum, and it has not been beneficial to us. If it has been, then we got a point. I'll embrace it. But we continue to lose and continue to do the same things and expect different results. And we have to stop doing that if we want to change things. We don't have to stop doing it. But if we want to change things, then you have to change things. Very simple. So with that, we'll still do our 30 seconds. We're going to do our 30 seconds. Let's kind of hold on. Take a couple breaths. We'll do 45 seconds today. We're going to take a couple breaths for the first 15 seconds, reset a bit. And then we're going to set our intentions for the week because it is Monday. And we're not going to let this situation get us too riled up. We're going to stay focused on the things that we need to accomplish this week, the task at hand, and make sure that we have the best week that we've ever had. So we're going to do 45 seconds, 15 seconds, take a couple breaths, reset. And then the next 30 seconds, focus on your intentions for the week, set the intentions for the week. And what we need to accomplish today and where our mind needs to be today to make sure that the rest of the week is amazing. So let's go. 45 seconds, go. Whew. All right, man. Y'all know what it is. Strength and honor, onward and upward. Let's elevate on purpose. Become what we need to become. Stand on what we need to stand on in order to accomplish results, all right? Facts over feelings and results over everything. Let's actually strive to get some great results rather than just feel good about ourselves. All right, get to the bag. Y'all know what's in my bag. Health, wealth, integrity, love, and happiness. Let's get to it. I'll see y'all soon. With that, Ant sent the fire emoji. Shout out to Ant. Everybody have a good day. Stop letting people trick you. Stop letting people trick you and stop letting people play with you. That's what I'm going to leave you with. Y'all have an amazing day.